spirit of the month and the holidays, I thought we would focus on a little bit more of maybe a feel-good presentation this evening, something that kind of aligns with the spirit of giving and so forth. We have two lovely speakers who are going to join us momentarily, in fact, and you can see from the slide and from the invite that they're from, or at least Alexis Ashworth is here, the CEO of Habitat for Humanity, the Greater Ottawa area. Can we say that? It sounds like we're like right there with Toronto. Greater Ottawa area, right? The GOA, never mind the GTA, yes. And they have a topic that's quite relevant on a number of levels, of course, but as you can see and as you'll hear, the connection between that globally recognized charity and the tech community is something they're very interested in. Not building from scratch; it's already in place, but kind of reinforcing. And it's a very, very good cause, and something that whether yourselves have the ability to get involved in, or your organizations, I'll let Alexa put this on, and of course Marisha, who's also here, put it in context for you. So without me babbling any further, thank you, and Alexis, can I ask you to take the podium, please?
Thank you very much, Steve, and thank you to you all who chose to join us today. I see some familiar faces in the audience. Can I see a show of hands of how many of you have been involved with Habitat or are familiar with Habitat for Humanity or have shopped at a Restore? Okay, so many of you. That's great. So some of this might be a bit repetitive to you, but we have a fresh topic, which is tech build, and I think that's relevant to you all. This is a team from IFS. The gentleman on the sod is the chair of our tech build leadership team, Nelson Quirk. Those of you who know Nelson, his name is appropriate. He's a fun guy. And Marissa is also on our team here to speak with you tonight. So I'm going to jump right in. Habitat for Humanity, a bit about who we are. We bring communities together to help families build strength, stability, and independence through affordable home ownership. Many people are familiar with the name Habitat for Humanity. We have a globally recognized brand, but not many people are familiar with the program and exactly how it works. They might think we give away homes or other common myths, but hopefully I can dispel some of those myths for you today and welcome you to ask questions about our organization. So Habitat is an international organization. We have a shared vision of a world where everyone has a safe and decent place to live. We are working in 80 countries around the world. We have a great program called Global Village, actually, that sends people, gives an opportunity for people to go on international trips and work around the world. Mark Ron is here, who's a Global Village team leader. So if you're interested in our international work, I'd welcome you to talk to Mark following the presentation. So internationally, we have improved shelter conditions for 3.6 million people currently. We're actually one of the largest developers in the world, which is also a fact that a lot of people aren't aware of. Since our first home was built in Canada in 1985, we have partnered with over 3,000 families across the country. We have local habitats in every province and every territory across Canada, and in Ontario alone, we have 24 local Habitat for Humanities. So we cover a lot of ground in the country, across the country. Since 1994, when we built our first house in Ottawa, Habitat has served 76 families in the Greater Ottawa area, including 175 children. Next year, that number is going to jump to 80 when we hand the keys over to 4 more families in February or March of next year. This is a little boy named Chance, and this is the day that we broke ground on his family's home at Lee Cross Landing, which is our largest development to date that we're working on currently. So a bit about how we work. Potential Habitat families are our partner families are lower income working families that are living in inadequate housing. Inadequate housing can mean a lot of things. It can be overcrowding, it can be unsafe neighborhoods, it could be mold in the unit. I've seen some units where multiple children are sharing one bedroom where it's just a room full of mattresses. So we're trying to get families out of those situations and into safe, decent, and affordable homes. Partnership with Habitat, this is again something that a lot of people aren't aware of, includes something called sweat equity. So it's a commitment of 500 volunteer hours towards the construction of your own home, and also the homes of others in the community. So that does a couple of things. One thing is increases the commitment of the family to the home. There's no down payment for the home, so it's sort of putting some work in to actually increase the commitment to the home. And it also teaches really valuable skills, because when we leave, the families are then homeowners and they have to maintain the home. So it provides an opportunity to swing a hammer and get familiar with the tools that they're going to need as homeowners. And it also really starts that community connection. I think Claude Elliott, I don't know if he's actually in the room. Are you in the room? Yeah, there he is. Claude has spent probably thousands of hours on our build site as a volunteer and a crew leader, and has worked alongside many families. So it starts that feeling of community for the families, that they're not in this alone, that there are lots of caring people around them that are working side by side with them to make this dream a reality. Habitat homeowners make monthly payments on an interest-free mortgage that is geared to income. So when the families move in, they pay a mortgage on the fair market value of the home. There's no down payment for that home, and the mortgage is interest-free. The payments are based on 30% of the family's gross income, and that's reevaluated every year. Actually, sorry, it's 25%. Sean corrected me there, 25% of the family's gross income. So we want the home to always be affordable for the family, and that's reevaluated every year. And then the mortgage payments are cycled back into what we call the Fund for Humanity. So 100% of those mortgage payments are used to fund future land purchases and future builds in the following years. So it's really a cycle where the more homes we build, the more homes we can build. And this diagram sort of summarizes what I just talked about, that families are selected by a committee, a family selection committee made up of volunteers, and they build their homes with volunteers and with community support. The families then buy the homes, and we reinvest all of those payments into a Fund for Humanity. So it's really a sustainable model, and it's a model whereby the more we build, the more we can build, and the more that Fund for Humanity increases year over year. So I mentioned Lee Cross Landing. This is the largest development that we've built to date. We built 4 homes in phase 1 in 2017. We're currently finishing up phase 2, which is 4 homes in 2018. And next year, we are doubling our capacity to build 8 homes in 2019. You may have noticed the date of our first build was 1994, so next year marks our 25th anniversary. And we want to go big next year and double our capacity and really make an impact. There's a huge need for affordable housing in Ottawa. I'm sure many of you are aware. The waiting list for social housing is about 10,000 people long, and about 37% of our families move out of social housing into Habitat homes. So we need to keep doing more and more, and we're pushing to increase our capacity every single year. I could talk all day about the build site, but I think it would be good to actually get a glimpse into our build site, and I'd like to show you a little video that features our construction manager, Steve Walsh, and some of our families as well.
I find that there's a common misperception of people who are first-time visitors to a Habitat site, first-time volunteers. People seem to believe that we give our houses away, and we do not. When I'm done building, I actually have the houses appraised, and our families pay fair market value for them. The leg up is that we give them an interest-free mortgage. We charge them 25% of their gross income. Children from Habitat families are something in the neighborhood of 4 times more likely to do post-secondary education than children from a social assisted background. So home ownership means that much to people. Well, you really get to see it during the key turning ceremonies. The look of joy in the faces of people who know that they otherwise would never have qualified for a mortgage. Home ownership was virtually out of reach for them. To see that and to see how happy the children are, and here in this particular site, now that we've got the first phase actually occupied, the kids are riding their bicycles and they're all playing with one another. It's really quite a nice little community right now for the kids. So we really see the difference.
Pour nous, c'est vraiment leur donner l'opportunité de changer leur vie puis la vie de leurs enfants aussi. Avec nos bénévoles, c'est vraiment le but d'avoir une maison abordable et de qualité pour les familles élever leurs enfants. Un environnement sécuritaire, ça prend vraiment l'équipe de bénévoles en tant que les commanditaires qui nous donnent soit l'argent ou les produits comme e-com.
I am very happy and proud for all my kids, my wife, and we are very proud to get this opportunity to get the house and to help us to get new life and new homes.
The build site's really an exciting place to be, and it's part of what's kept me involved with Habitat for 8.5 years now between Halifax and Ottawa. And I'm sure it's what kept Claude coming back year after year. It's such a great energy on the site. You've got sponsors coming together with volunteers and homeowners working side by side, and there's just an amazing vibe on the site and amazing energy on the site every day. So here are some of the homeowners who moved into phase 1, the first 4 units, Abdulatif and Sadia. Teresa and her son Chance, that little boy in the front, is the one who was shoveling the dirt at the groundbreaking ceremony. He's now living in his home. Hattie and Hannah and Annie, who's an Inuit single mother with her beautiful son Hunter. So we were really proud to hand the keys over to these 4 families earlier this year. So the impact on homeowners, there's been a couple of studies done in the last 5 years or so. CMHC conducted a study in 2013. And I won't read through all these stats, but the gist of it is that family life and health and children's lives improve when they move into a safe, decent, and affordable home, particularly provided by Habitat. So there's a reduced dependency on social services with health care. In my opinion, the greatest benefit of a Habitat home is to the children in the home. Children go from living in cramped environments, what I described earlier, where there's nowhere to bring friends over to play, or a place to sit and study and do homework, or families are living in a concrete jungle where they're afraid to let their kids go out, walk to school, let alone go out and play in the evenings, like I'm sure many of us did when we were children. So it really has a strong impact on children. And then, the families, the parents are able to build equity and eventually send their children to college or university. And it truly breaks that cycle of dependency on social housing and on rental housing. So I think it's one reason that one of our criteria is the families must have dependent children, because to me that's the greatest impact and where we're making the greatest change in society. Another study was done by the Boston Consulting Group in 2015 to actually put our SROI, our social return on investment, in dollar terms. And it showed that for every Habitat home generates $175,000 worth of benefits to society. And this comes in a number of ways. I mentioned that 37% of our families roughly move out of social housing, opening up units for other families that are on the waiting list. Often their employment improves, they go back to school, they start donating their time and money to charity, and often their children, as I said, go on to higher education. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our Restore. We operate a social enterprise called the Restore, which I think probably many of you have been to. It is a store that sells new and used building supplies, furniture, pretty much anything you'd find at a Home Depot, you could find at a Restore for no tax at about half the price. And all of the profits go to Habitat for Humanity to help us build more homes. We also, it's a very environmental store. A lot of the product that comes to us would have ended up in a landfill if it didn't end up at Habitat. And we have 3 stores in Ottawa, or in the Ottawa area. Our largest store is our newest store at 3 Iber Road in Stittsville. It's 18,000 square feet of shopping space, so it's quite massive. And we have a store in the train yards, and then our smallest store is off Merivale at 7 Enterprise. And now I'm going to hand it over to Marissa Campbell. For those of you who don't know Marissa, she is the VP and Associate General Counsel of Entrust Data Card since 2014, and a member of our Tech Build leadership team. Thank you.
Okay, I'm hoping that I don't set off some video here, so if I do, I'm really sorry. I'm very excited to be part of the leadership team that's launching the Habitat for Humanity Greater Ottawa Tech Build. I've been involved in a build in the early 2000s and have firsthand experience to say that it's just a rewarding experience and a lot of fun. And if you've never picked up a hammer or built a roof or done any wallpapering or anything like that, it's a great opportunity to learn how to do that, and with your company, colleagues, friends, in a really fun atmosphere. We have come together as a leadership team to encourage the tech community to come out and show everybody what a collective power we can be. Our goal is to raise $100,000, with every dollar raised going towards, with every dollar going towards the Habitat's Phase 3 Lee Cross Landing build. There's going to be 8 homes, as Alexis had mentioned, and it's going to be dedicated for people that are here in the Ottawa community. We'll be breaking ground in April, May, and then continuing the builds throughout to the rest of the calendar year. So 2 main ways that we, the tech community, can get involved. The first way is the corporate sponsorships. So that's either through the build days, and the build days, as you've seen some pictures of other members that have contributed, is getting together 10 members of your company and arranging sponsorships, and it's at a cost of $5,000 per team. It's, as I said, I've done it. It's a heck of a lot of fun. But if that's not for you, there are other opportunities that I'll be discussing, and they're available at various different levels of sponsorship. If you're with a small startup or a company that might not find this as fun as I do, but you still want to contribute, we're also encouraging people to grab your friends and colleagues in the tech community and form build teams of 10 or more people and raise the $5,000. It's only $500 per person, and fundraise in the community and join into the build. There's a nice picture too of how fun you can have here. So IFS is formerly MXI. They were on the build site today, and we wanted to share some of the pictures and a short clip just to give you an idea of what happens during the build on a regular day. And that's one of our members, another leader. There.
Okay. Hi, I'm Zach Mikalashik. I'm from IFS. This is our 3rd build, and it's a lot of fun. We're doing something for the community. Fantastic.
Close that down.
Short but very powerful. Other ways that you can support is also to donate directly to Tech Build via the Habitat Go website, or you can donate directly to a team build. And most importantly, just helping get the word out there that there is a tech theme to the build, and letting your networks know to get involved, how to get involved, and the dates that are associated with the build. Just to give you the benefits, there are many. In addition to actually getting out and being on site, and also having a collaborative work opportunity, There's going to be photos of your day on the build site and a group photo with your company logo. Your company name will go on Habitat Go's website and across social media. Invitations to our groundbreaking and dedication ceremonies will be given out to your company, and an opportunity to speak or present keys to a family, which is a really powerful event. I've actually witnessed that, and it's quite wonderful to have the opportunity to meet the families and just see the difference that you can make. And also, I don't know, for those of you who have been able to attend November 4th event, your company name will be recognized at Habitat Go's Steel Toes and Stilettos Gala. That's another great event. Helps raise some money for Habitat for Humanity. This is a great opportunity to partner with Habitat for Humanity to build your brand, as well as build awareness of your company, to have some fun, improve your employee engagement, and even use this for client or customer development, and also for recruiting events. It's endless opportunities on how you can leverage this opportunity, but also make a huge difference in the community. So Alexis is going to come up and tell you a little bit more about just building your brand and some of the little known facts about partnering with Habitat for Humanity.
Thank you. I think you can see in the slide, but basically Habitat is a very powerful brand, and there's been a lot of research about the power of connecting with a brand like Habitat, and that, you know, customers will actually switch brands to go to a company that is aligning with what they believe in and doing something good in the community. So that's one more benefit besides employee engagement and helping the families, obviously, of partnering with Habitat. So we talked about Habitat really providing, it's cliche, but a hand up and not a handout. We're not a giveaway program, and I think that is one of the biggest myths, is that we're giving away homes. You can see that the families do put in a lot of work for these homes, and they also pay and pay it forward into future families. I could talk to you all day about Habitat, but I'm going to show you one last short video. Really, we're all about family, and we're all about the meaning of home. And hopefully many of us in this room live in comfortable homes, raising families, potentially my growing family. And we maybe take for granted the safety and the security and the comfort of our home. And if you think back to, you know, the home that you grew up in and what that meant to you, it's really, Habitat is an opportunity for us to reflect on what home means and what it would mean if you didn't have that safe and comfortable home. So I'm going to play this one last short clip.
So,
gosh, I think I'm gonna lose it. Hold on.
sorry. Okay.
Ja, así está.
I don't think anybody will ever understand how grateful my family is.
So thank you very much for your attention today, for listening about Habitat for Humanity, and that's all from me. Thanks, Steve.